Welcome back, learners. So this is Manisha, and in today video we are going to solve one more long question, and the question name is IMMA, and this is from the BPP exam kit because I got a comment from one of my viewers. He's struggling to solve the basis of financial statement question from the BPP kit, so that's why for her I'm making this video. Previously I have uploaded this one, the Malrite, Tonson, and shoe swap. Yes, I have uploaded this long question in the previous video. So you can access those video at free of cost without paying any subscription membership. It's fully free of cost, available on my YouTube channel. There is separate playlist being created. Go and check it out, right? And still you are struggling in any of the topic, let me know. I will try my best to publish the video on that topics as soon as possible. So this question is from the statement of cash flow, and the cash flow question is quite easy. You just need to perform few small calculations, and you need to pick up the data from this P&L and the SOFP. It's very easy question and it's a good scoring area, I think. So let's read out the question, then we will come to the requirement after reading it. So set out below are the financial statement of IMMA, a limited liability company. So they have provided the profit or loss for the year ended 31st December 20x2, and here it is. And then they have provided the SOFP for the two financial year, the current one and the previous one. And in the cash flow statement, obviously they will provide the two SOFP. Okay, and there is few additional information that say the proceeds from the sale of non-current asset in an investment amounted to 30,000. Fixtures and fittings with an original cost of 85,000 and carrying amount of 45,000 were sold for 32,000 during the year. So see, these all represent the cash is coming in, right? So we will use this information while doing the calculation, and I will show you how. The third additional information says that the following information relates to the PPE. So they have provided the cost, accumulated depreciations, and the share were issued. Right now, requirement is to complete the following section of the statement of cash flow for the year ended 31st December 20x2 for IMMA. Okay, so they have, it's very simple. They have already provided a ready-made format. You just need to perform few calculation of how much cash is being received and paid, and you need to pick up the data from the given P&L and SOP. It's very easy question. I must say it's a good scoring area. Okay, so now let's start from the beginning. The first is the cash flow from operating activities. As you know, in the cash flow statement, it is divided into the three categories: operating, investing, and the financing, right? So first one is the operating, and yes, in the exam you will find the most of question is from the indirect one. Direct one is, I think, rarely asked. Okay, so have a grip over this indirect one calculations. Okay, there is not much difference between the direct and indirect, but yes, if you look at the question, the past paper, the most of the question is related to the indirect one, right? Okay, now profit before tax and the slash profit after tax. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to go to the P&L. Okay, and in the P&L you can see they have provided the profit for the year, but it is after tax, but we will take before tax. So here you need to choose profit before tax, and here write down 350. What is that? 350. Yes. Okay, okay, now we have to do few adjustment in this profit before tax. Like we need to remove the non-cash item. So the non-cash item has been deducted in order to arrive at the profit for the year. So now if it is expense, we need to add it back, but if it is an income, in that case we need to deduct. Okay, so we need to do the few adjustment to this profit before tax. The first one is depreciation. Yes, depreciation is non-cash item, so that's why we need to add back. So यहाँ पे अगर देखोगे depreciation, they didn't have provided exact figure for depreciation. right? So that means you need to perform few calculations. Okay, and how can we calculate the depreciation which is charged for the year? Depreciation charged for the year ended 31st December. How can we calculate? Okay, so if you look at the notes, additional notes, they have provided us the accumulated depreciations. Okay, so for the cash flow statement and to perform this kind of calculation, you can go through the laser method or direct method. I will show you how. Okay, so if you are not going to follow the laser approach, then you can write down the brought forward balance. What is the brought forward balance of accumulated depreciation? Obviously, the closing balance of the previous year is the opening balance for the current year. So that's a 290, right? Okay, 290. And now what is the closing balance for this year? Closing balance is 340, right? So there is difference between these two, and that could be our depreciation charge for the current year, right? So this will be difference of these two. So here 50. Am right? Am I right? Wait. They have also said that they have sold the assets. Yeah, in second point, they are saying that the fixture and furniture with the original cost of 85,000 and the carrying amount of 45,000. That means difference of 40 is the accumulated depreciation that we need to remove. Okay, so let me add this. Yes, depreciation of sold assets. So as we are taking the accumulated depreciation figure, so that means this 40,000 has been included in this amount. So we need to deduct it again, and अब ये करने पे again we have a difference, right? So difference कितना का आ रहा है? So यहाँ पे 250 हुआ. मैं फिर से एक्सप्लेन करूंगी, डोंट वरी. एक सेकेंड है, इसको लेजर फॉर्म में पहले वो करूंगी एंड देन आपको फिर से एक्सप्लेन करके बताती हूँ. minus this. Yes, 90 is the depreciation charge for the year. पहले इसको लेजर के फॉर्म में समझते हैं, फिर मैं बैक आती हूँ. ठीक है, अगर लेजर के फॉर्म में किया जाए देन देयर विल बी वन डेबिट एंड हियर विल बी क्रेडिट. ठीक है, दो को पोर्शन होगा, डेबिट एंड द क्रेडिट. ऑल टच पी है. ओके, एंड ब्रॉड फॉरवर्ड बैलेंस है तो ये दिस विल बी ऑन द क्रेडिट साइड क्योंकि ये एक्यूमुलेटेड एप्रिसिएशन है, तो जो कि वो क्रेडिट साइड में होता है. तो ब्रॉड फॉरवर्ड बैलेंस कितना है हमारा? ब्रॉड फॉरवर्ड बैलेंस इज योर 290 एंड कैरी फॉरवर्ड हमारा अपोजिट साइड में होता है, सो दैट कि वो नेक्स्ट ईयर क्रेडिट साइड में आए, इसलिए अभी डेबिट साइड में होगा ये. एंड अमाउंट इज 340. अभी हम लोग ने कुछ एसेट सोल्ड भी किया है, सो इट विल बी डिडक्टेड हियर. डेप्रिसिएशन ऑफ द सोल्ड एसेट्स. ठीक है, तो सोल्ड एसेट क्या डेप्रिसिएशन क्या निकाला हम लोग ने? 40. कैसे? बिकॉज दे हैव प्रोवाइडेड द ओरिजिनल कॉस्ट एंड द कैरिंग अमाउंट एंड डिफरेंस इज द accumulated depreciation and that's 40,000. ठीक है, that's fine. अब हम लोग डेबिट साइड में टोटल करेंगे. we have 340 plus 40. alright, बट अगर हम लोग क्रेडिट साइड में टोटल करेंगे we only have it 290. ठीक है, सो डिफरेंस यहाँ पे आ रहा है. difference and how much is the amount? If we will different calculate the difference between this two, 380 and 290, it's a 90. एंड ये डेप्रिसिएशन चार्ज फॉर द ईयर जो कि क्रेडिट साइड में आके ऐड होगा. ओके, यू गॉट माय पॉइंट. तो आप लेजर के थ्रू भी जा सकते हो और यू कैन डू द डायरेक्ट एज आई हैव डन हियर. सो हियर वी गॉट द वैल्यू ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन दैट्स 90. सो अब हम लोग यहाँ पे वी विल कीप द 90. अब ऐड की सब्ट्रैक्ट? एड. वाई? बिकॉज ये प्रीवियसली माइनस हुआ रहेगा प्रॉफिट तक आने में. अब हम ये जो कि नॉन कैश आइटम है दैट्स वाई वी नीड टू एड इट बैक. ओके, नाउ ये भी हो गया, ये भी हो गया. नाउ लॉस ऑन द सेल ऑफ द नॉन करेंट एसेट. अब प्रॉफिट और लॉस को भी हम लोग ने ऐड किया रहता है ना यहाँ पे, इन ऑर्डर टू ड्राइव द प्रॉफिट फॉर द ईयर। यहाँ पे यहाँ तक आने के लिए यहाँ पे सब कुछ वो प्लस माइनस हुआ रहता है। सो अभी लॉस तो एक्चुअल कैश फ्लो आइटम नहीं है, सो वी नीड टू अगेन add it back. Okay, so let's calculate the loss for the year. How can we calculate? Additional information में they said their carrying amount was 45,000, but they sold the asset for 32,000. So how much is the loss? How much is the loss? They have sold, sell profit is 32,000 and the carrying amount was 45,000. So this gives us loss of 13,000 and this loss has been deducted in order to drive the profit. So now again we need to add it back. So I will write down here. Let me do this. So again, one more thing. The question says to take the 30 in the common. So please keep this thing in the mind while performing the calculation. So here how much we calculated? 90, and it will be added, right? So we will do add, and losses 13,000, that means 13. Okay, and again we need to do add. Okay, now next is saying profit on the sale of non-current asset investment. So again, in the additional information, the first point says the proceed of sale of non-current asset investment amount to 30,000. So they have sold this investment in the 30,000, but what is the carrying amount and how can we find that carrying amount? So it will be on the SOFP. So you can see their investment value. It was 25,000. Now it has been sold in the current year, so that's why it was blank in the current year. So its value was 25,000, and we have sold in the 30,000. That means we have a profit of 5,000. So this profit has been added in this profit for the year, profit before tax. So now we have to deduct. Okay, so we will deduct this amount. So we will write down here 5. Okay, so here we will write down 5, and but this time it will be now subtract. Okay, so here we will choose subtract option. Okay, then next we have movement in the inventory. So again, this movement in the inventory, receivable, payables, you will find this in the SOFP, and for this calculation we need 2 years figure, which is already provided in the question. So you can see inventory value has been increased by how much amount? By how much amount? 150 minus 102. Okay, the inventory value is increasing by 48,000. Okay, so what does that means? That means you have spent more cash in buying those inventory. So cash has been gone out. So that means we need to subtract here 48. Okay, so here we will write down 48 and it will be subtract again. Now next we have a movement in the receivable. So again we will go to the SOFP. So you can see the receivable value is also increasing by how much amount? It's 390 minus 315. So that give us value of 75. So receivable is increasing by 35,000. Okay, so that means we have not received the cash. Okay, so now we have to again deduct. If receivable is decreasing, in that case we have received the cash from the customer, but if it is increasing, that means we have not received the cash. So that's why we will deduct 75. Okay, so 75 will be deducted from here. So 75 now subtract. Okay, so this will be now subtract. Then next we have a movement in the payables. So again we will go to the SOP, and in the current liability section you will find the trade payables. It's increasing. So if trade payables has been decreased, that means we are paying cash to the supplier, right? But if it is increasing, then it will be vice versa situation. Okay, so by how much amount the trade payable is increasing? 127 minus 119. So it's 8. So now that means we have saved 8. So 8 will be added here. So 8 will be added here. Okay, so basically in this receivable inventory, what do you need to think? You can think like this. If inventory is increasing, that means we have purchased more goods. That's why inventory is in the stock, right? So पैसा बाहर गया, पैसा out मतलब increase in inventory मतलब deduct करेंगे, पैसा बाहर जा रहा है. और उल्टा केस में अगर inventory decrease होता तो ऐड करते. सिमिलरली फॉर द रिसीवल, अगर रिसीवल डिक्रीज हो रहा है मतलब कस्टमर ने हमको पैसा दिया तो ऐड होगा. अगर इंक्रीज हो रहा है तो इसका उल्टा. पेबल के केस में मान लो कि इफ पेबल इज डिक्रीजिंग, दैट मीन्स वी आर पेइंग बैक टू आवर सप्लायर. पैसा बाहर गया तो सब्ट्रैक्ट. अगर ये उल्टा होगा मतलब लाइक अगर पेबल इंक्रीज हो रहा है दैट मीन्स हमारा ऐड होगा. ओके, so we are done with the this part, adjustment 1. Now income tax paid. Income tax paid, what you need to do is you need to look for the whether any tax payable amount has been booked in the SOP. If yes, then you need to perform the calculation like by making the laser or direct one. But if it is not been booked as liability in the SOP, in that case you can take the direct value from the P&L. Okay, so we will first check in the yes, in the current liability there is taxation. Yes, so there is taxation. Let me prepare the laser. I think by laser you are grabbing the concept very easily. So this one is taxation. Okay, and this one is debit and this one is credit. Okay, fine. Okay, now it's liability now. So liability, brought forward liability will be on the credit side. So brought forward amount is 240 and carry forward amount will be on the opposite side. Why? Because next year वो ये carry forward credit side में आएगा, again ये liability हो जाएगा. So credit side में how much we have 290 and the taxation charge for the year वो कहाँ से मिलेगा? P&L से. So what is the tax for the year? 240. So taxation यहाँ पे tax यहाँ पे add हो जाएगा 240. So that means how much is the total of the credit side? Total of the credit side is 480 and what is the total on the debit side? It's a 290. There is difference. So how much amount has been paid? So difference of these two will be the the amount of tax paid. So now if you will add both of these, now debit and credit will be equal. ठीक है, 480. So 190 is the cash paid. So cash paid हुआ, that means subtract. ठीक है, so यहाँ पे you will have a 190 and again यहाँ पे क्या होगा? Subtract. Okay, now done. हम लोग ने कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम ऑपरेटिंग एक्टिविटी कर लिया. नाउ कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम द इन्वेस्टमेंट एक्टिविटी, परचेज ऑफ इंटेंजिबल नॉन करंट एसेट. अगेन इसके लिए ऐसा ही लेजर बनाएंगे. इसको मैं रिमूव कर देती हूँ. नाउ अभी इसको इंटेंजिबल नॉन करंट एसेट, अब ये कहाँ से कैलकुलेट करेंगे? सो वी नीड टू गो टू द एसओपी एसेट पोर्शन एंड यू कैन सी इंटेंजिबल एसेट. अब जबकि ये एसेट्स है तो ब्रॉड फॉरवर्ड बैलेंस कहाँ पे होगा? ऑन द डेबिट साइड. सो व्हाट विल बी द ब्रॉड फॉरवर्ड बैलेंस? तो लास्ट ईयर का क्लोजिंग, दैट विल बी द ब्रॉड फॉरवर्ड, दैट्स अ 200. एंड इस साल का closing, that's a 250 will be the carry forward amount. So carry forward amount is 250. Okay, and do we add I think there is nothing mentioned regarding the intangible asset in the notes. Yes, they didn't say anything about the intangible asset. Now what is the difference between two? So if you will total the debit and credit, in the debit side there is 200 total and in the credit side it is 250. So there is difference of 250. There is difference of 50. That means asset has been purchased which amount is 50. So now the debit and credit will be equal. Okay, so here एडिंग दिस टू विल गिव इट 250. सो इसका मतलब कि 50 का एसेट खरीदा हुआ है. अब 50 का खरीदा है तो पैसा क्या हुआ है, बाहर गया है, तो बाहर गया तो सब्ट्रैक्ट. ओके ओके. नाउ परचेज ऑफ ए टेंजिबल नॉन करेंट एसेट, ये भी ऐसे ही करेंगे जैसे अभी हम लोग ने इसको किया. सो यहाँ पे अब इनटेंजिबल को हटाते हैं एंड लेट इट बी टेंजिबल, और बाकी सब चीज को रिमूव कर देते हैं. ओके बाकी सब चीज को रिमूव कर सकते हैं. सो नाउ tangible का, yeah, so brought forward balance is 305 and carry forward is 380. ठीक है, carry forward is 380. so अब asset sold भी हुआ था, right? What was the amount of asset sold? If you remember in the point additional information, this sold the asset whose cost were 85,000. so disposal कितना का हुआ? Disposal value is 85,000. 85, we will write down 85 because we are taking the 30 in the common. And one more thing, we need to also add, just a second, have we taken the cost figure or what? 380 305, 380 305. Sorry, we have taken the carrying amount figure, but if you look at the additional information, they have provided a cost figure, right? So our brought forward amount was 595 and carry forward amount was 720, and we have disposed 85. And one more thing, we need to check it out in the SOP whether there is any revaluation surplus or not. Yes, we have revaluation surplus. And what is the difference? Difference of revaluation surplus is 9, so which is the revaluation surplus for the year. So now let's add this two. So we have 604 total in the debit side, and अगर क्रेडिट पोर्शन को ऐड करें तो वी हैव 805. सो डिफरेंस है, राइट? सो कितने का डिफरेंस है? दैट विल बी द परचेज अमाउंट. कितने का डिफरेंस है दोनों में? दैट 201 का. सो इट्स द परचेज अमाउंट फॉर द ईयर. अगर 201 यहाँ पे रखेंगे तो यू कैन सी डेबिट एंड क्रेडिट अब इक्वल हो गया. सो 201 will be the purchase amount for the tangible non-current asset. अब ये subtract होगा कि add? Subtract. Why? Because पैसा बाहर जा रहा है ना, हम लोग ने खरीदा तो पैसा बाहर गया. So 201 subtract. Now received from the sale of non-current asset. Received from the sale of non-current asset. ये तो इजी है. कैसे? बिकॉज आई थिंक इन एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन उन्होंने क्लियरली मेंशन किया था. देखो यहाँ पे सी, एक ये सेल किया गया है 30,000 का एंड एक ये सेल किया है 32,000 का. सो दोनों को ऐड करेंगे तो इट इज 62,000. सो 62,000 क्या आ रहा है? पैसा आ रहा है. and 30 कॉमन लेना है, so 62 and now it will be added because पैसा आ रहा है. So we are done with the cash flow from the investment activity as well. Now next we have a cash flow from the financing activity. Proceeds from the issue of share capital. Share capital issue करके कितना पैसा आया वो पूछ रहे हैं इन्होंने. So कितना शेयर इशू हुआ था? 5,000. 5,000, एक सेकेंड, हाँ, 50,000. ओके. सो प्रोसीड ऑफ शेयर के लिए अब एक चीज यहाँ पे पढ़े, ये लाइन ध्यान से पढ़े. 50,000 शेयर इशू हुआ है जिसका नॉमिनल वैल्यू इज $1. ओके, बट इसको कितने के प्रीमियम में इशू किया गया है? 20 सेंट पर शेयर. दैट मीन्स इसका इशू प्राइस कितना हुआ? 1 नॉमिनल वैल्यू प्लस 0.2 आपका प्रीमियम अमाउंट. दैट मीन्स ये इशू हुआ है 1.2 पे. सो कितना शेयर इशू किया? 50,000 और कितना प्राइस पे? 1.2 पे. मतलब हम लोग ने इतना पैसा रिसीव किया शेयर इशू करके. सो 60,000 हुआ. अब 30 कॉमन लेंगे सो 60 आएगा. सो 60 यहाँ पे लिखेंगे एंड ये अगेन ऐड होगा. वाई? बिकॉज हम लोग ने पैसा लिया है, वे पब्लिक से लिया है, सो इसीलिए ये ऐड होगा. राइट. नाउ डिविडेंड पेड. अब डिविडेंड पेड के लिए हम लोग रिटेन अर्निंग फिगर का यूज करेंगे एंड रिटेन अर्निंग का फिगर कहाँ पे होगा? बैलेंस शीट में. सो रिटेन अर्निंग ये हो गया. लेट मी रिमूव दिस ऑल. यस। सो ब्रॉड फॉरवर्ड बैलेंस क्या है रिटेन अर्निंग का? ब्रॉड फॉरवर्ड विल बी ऑन द क्रेडिट साइड बिकॉज ये क्रेडिट पोर्शन में होता है एंड अमाउंट इज 100। कैरी फॉरवर्ड अमाउंट क्या है? कैरी फॉरवर्ड अमाउंट इज योर 160। ठीक है। एंड इस साल का प्रॉफिट क्या है वो भी तो ऐड करना पड़ेगा। सो प्रॉफिट फॉर द ईयर, प्रॉफिट फॉर द ईयर, प्रॉफिट फॉर द ईयर इज 110। 110। अब इन दोनों को जोड़ने के बाद हाउ मच इज द टोटल अमाउंट ऑन द क्रेडिट साइड? इट्स 210 और डेबिट साइड में इट्स 160। सो डिफरेंस कितना का है? डिफरेंस इज 210 माइनस 160। सो 50 का डिविडेंड इशू हुआ है। सो डिविडेंड इशू किया होगा तो ऑब्वियसली कैश में इशू किया होगा। सो पैसा बाहर जाएगा। सो पैसा बाहर गया तो माइनस। अब देखो ये 50 यहाँ पे ऐड करेंगे तो आवर डेबिट एंड क्रेडिट विल बी नाउ इक्वल। देखा? सो नाउ हियर 50 लिखेंगे, 50 50 एंड इसको यहाँ पे हम लोग सब्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे। ओके, यस। नाउ लॉन्ग टर्म लोन, लॉन्ग टर्म लोन के लिए भी ऐसे करना है। सो 100 आया है ना, 100 का इसी साल इशू किया ओपनिंग। सो आपका ये लोन की बात किया जाए यहाँ पे, सो वी हैव ओपनिंग बैलेंस एज ए 0। ठीक है, ओपनिंग बैलेंस 0 एंड ये पोर्शन तो आएगा ही नहीं। ओके, सो इस साल लोन कितना इशू हुआ है? कैरी फॉरवर्ड अमाउंट है 100। ओके, सो अगेन डेबिट और क्रेडिट इक्वल नहीं है, सो दैट मीन्स इस साल लोन ऐड हुआ है 100 का। सो इसी वजह से अब डेबिट एंड क्रेडिट इक्वल हो गया। सो 100 अमाउंट वी हैव रिसीव, सो यहाँ पे 100 लिखेंगे और इसको ऐड करेंगे। सो आई होप आपको समझ में आया होगा कैसे क्या करना है। अगर मुझे टाइम मिला तो मैं एक समरी बना दूंगी कैसे कैसे क्या करना है, सो दैट यू गाइज विल हैव अ रफ आइडिया रिगार्डिंग दिस। So I hope you have enjoyed and let me know in the comment box if you are struggling with any topic. Thank you so much. Have a good day.